Hi everyone. In today's session, we'll be discussing about XML, which we also call it as Extensible Markup Language. So, XML is also a type of a markup language, same like as HTML, but we cannot completely say that XML can be a replacement of HTML because whenever it is being used, that is wherever XML is used, it will be used as a combination with the HTML. The major difference between this XML and HTML is that XML has been designed to describe how the data is and what the data is. But coming to XML, sorry, by coming to HTML, what we'll be doing is that we'll be displaying how the information has to be presented to the users. That is how the information can be displayed, in what way the information can be displayed, but nowhere we'll be talking about what the data that you are presenting or else what the data that you are displaying to the users. But coming to XML, it will be talking about how the data has been described and what the data is. In XML, you are having a privilege that you can use the markups or else you can use the tags of our own. That is, you can define the tags. You can use the tags of your own name or else of your wish. But coming to HTML, you have to be bounded to a particular set of tags like table, h1, or else bold tag, like many tags that are available. But coming to XML, there is no restriction that you have to use only these predefined tags, but you can utilize the tags of your own in order to create an XML document. If you look at the syntax of how an XML and a HTML code will be working like, if you look after the above code, that is a HTML code, firstly we had defined an HTML tag, a body tag, and a H1, H2, H3 tags, and we had closed the body tag and also the HTML tag. Here what happens is that whenever you run this particular HTML code, the data will be displayed. That is, Harry Potter will be displayed in H1 tag, which is a bigger tag, bigger in size, and next bigger size will be JK Rowling. It will be displayed in the website, and also the 1999 and also the Scholastic will be displayed in the H3 tags. That is, here we are concentrating on how the data has been displayed. That is, what should be the size of the data and using which tag the data has to be displayed. Now, if you look after the code in the XML document, the first tag that you are using is a book tag. That is, the user will be able to know that whatever the data that you are going to write beneath that particular tag are related to a particular book. If you look after the tag below the book, what we had taken is that we had taken the title. That is, the title of the book is Harry Potter, and after the title tag has been closed, and after that you had taken the author, that is JK Rowling, and the author tag has been closed, and also the date of release of that particular book is like, say for example, like 1999, and the date has been closed, and also next we had taken the publisher name, and at last what you had done is that we had closed the book tag. If you look after the code difference between HTML and XML, in HTML, if a user looks at the code, what all he'll be able to know is that he'll be able to know that just there is a name called Harry Potter and something like a JK Rowling and some sort of year, and even he'll not be able to know what is Scholastic at that particular code. But if you look after the XML code, looking after the first tag itself, you will be able to know that you are going to talk about a book. That is, it is the title of the book is Harry Potter, and the author is J.K. Rowling, and the date is 1999, and the publisher is Scholastic. So that is what we were talking about. That is, the HTML code will be concentrating on how the data has to be presented, and an XML code will be concentrating on what the data is. That is, it gives a description of what the data that you are taking. So here what happens is that whenever you are taking an XML document, it has a separate syntax when compared to a HTML document, and also it is having its own self-made markup or any imaginable application domain. If you look, as we had discussed earlier, in HTML we have to use some predefined tags, but coming to XML, you can use the tags of your own. Here itself, you can look after the difference. Here you are having a HTML tag, which is a predefined one. The body tag is a predefined one. The H1, H2, H3 tags are predefined. But coming to XML, look after the code there. The book is not a predefined one. It is a tag which we had created now. The title is not a predefined tag, and an author or else the date or else the publisher, none of the tags which we had used in the HTML code are predefined one. Everything are the tags that we are using. And also we can say that this particular XML is having more advantage because it is platform independent, and we can consider it as a structured information where you'll be having the data which is formulated using a particular structure, same thing like the databases. So if you look at the syntax of an XML document, first of all what we'll be doing is that we'll be defining the version of XML that we are using, starting with a tag that is an open brace and a question mark. First of all we are defining XML version equals to 1.0. So that is the syntax that we are going to follow. And after that, if you look at the tag that we are using, the node tag. So the tag that we are using initially, that we call it as a root tag, that is a node tag. That is, we are able to know that the information that is being beneath that particular tag is related to a node. And after that, we had taken two different tags, that is a to tag and the from tag. That is, a message is being passed from Rajesh to Samrat. That is what is happening. And after that, we had taken a heading, that is the heading of a reminder. And after that we had taken a body, that is this Saturday we are having at a 12 a meeting at 12 at the noon. So looking after the code itself, we are able to know that a note is being sent from Rajesh to Samrat, that it is a reminder that they are having a meeting at 12 p.m. this Saturday. So that is how an XML document will be defining what the data is. And here we can observe a major difference, that is, in HTML some of the tags need not be closed. Say for example, something like if you are taking a HR tag which displays a line in HTML document, that need not be closed anywhere, right? So there are many other tags which are not meant to be closed in HTML. But coming to XML, every tag that you open has to be closed at any cost. If you look after the other code, the node tag has been closed, the to tag has been closed, from tag has been closed, heading tag has been closed, body tag has been closed, and also the node tag has been closed. Every tag has been closed. And also we can say that XML is a case sensitive language. That is, if you say for example in 2, if you write T as a capital letter, whenever you are closing, you have to write T as a capital letter even in the closing tag also. That should be maintained. As it is a case sensitive language, we have to be very much cautious that how the tags are open and how the tags are closed, and what is the case sensitiveness that we are following and how we are defining the tags. Because if you're not closing the tags properly, we'll not be just getting the output whatever that is desired. That is what happens. And here we will be talking about the next topic, that is regarding the XML attributes. So attribute is nothing but in HTML we define an attribute as the thing which we use in order to change the default properties of a HTML tag. We'll be using attributes. But coming to XML, what we use, why we use attributes is that in order to describe the XML elements, or else in order to provide additional information about the elements. Here each tag we are calling them as elements. In HTML what we are saying is that we use it to change the default properties. Say for example h1 is a tag. That is, whenever you write something text between the h1 tag, what happens is that it will be displayed to the left side and it will be black in color. Say for example you want to align it to the center, then what you will be doing? H1 space align is equals to center. Here align is an attribute which is changing the default property of the H1 tag. In the same way, XML is also having attributes, but here we use it to describe the XML doc elements, or else we'll be using it to provide some sort of additional information about the elements. If you look after the code over here, first of all, as said in the syntax, what we had done is that we had taken the XML version and we had declared it as something like 1.0. And next, what we had done is that in the earlier code, if you look after here, just we had taken a tag that is note. But in this particular example, we are taking note space date. That is on which date that you are sending the note. That is, you are describing or else you are adding some additional information to the note tag, that a note is being sent on that particular day. And here again we had taken the to information and also the from information, and here the meeting, that is when the meeting reminder is being sent. So heading is the meeting, that is the reminder is being sent on Wednesday itself. Here what you had done is that we had provided additional information that the reminder has been sent on so and so date and it is on Wednesday. That is, we had added some additional information that well described the XML element. And after that we had taken the body part and also we had closed the node. So that is why we will be using XML attributes in XML in order to provide in order to describe the XML elements, or else to provide additional information about these particular elements. And next we will be talking about use of elements and also use of attributes. If you say, for example, person space sex is equals to female. So here what you are talking about is we are describing the person as a female, right? So we are describing the person tag by using an attribute sex. But whenever you are using sex as an element, first we had taken person as a tag and sex as another tag, first name and also last name as another tags, right? So whenever you are declaring it as an attribute, you'll be using it inside a tag, and whenever you are using it as an element, you'll be declaring it beneath a particular tag. If you look after the second example, node space date is equals to 21st September 2021. That is the node which we had defined, and here node is a tag and date is an attribute. So whenever you are declaring it as an attribute, you have to write it inside the tag, and whenever you are writing it as an element, what you have done is that, see, here you can see that the node is having an attribute and another element, that is a date element beneath the node element. So that is how you will be saying that what is the major difference between declaring any sort of tag as an element or as an attribute. And here we'll be talking about the types of XML documents, that is well-formed XML documents and valid XML documents. A well-formed XML documents is a document which just conforms to the XML syntax rules. So what is the syntax of an XML document at all? First of all, we have to define what is the version of the XML, and each and every tag has to be closed. That is, whatever the tag that is open, it has to be closed. Then we can say it as a well-formed XML document. Here whatever the code that we are showing as an example, we can confirm that it is a well-formed XML document, which is because it is following all the rules and the syntax of the XML document. And whenever we are talking about a valid XML document, it has to be a well-formed XML document first, and next it has to follow the rules of the document type definition, which we call it as DTD. So you have to note a major point over here, that is, a valid XML document has to be a well-formed XML document first. Then we'll be checking for another rule, that whether it is following the document type definition or not. If you look after the example below, here we had taken a syntax that is XML version and all the tags are closed. That is, firstly we can say it as a well formed XML document, but along with that we have to check whether it is following the rules of a document type definition. So here, whenever you're talking about the document type definition, we'll be talking about two different types of DTD. One is internal DTD and other one is external DTD. That is what a DTD, that is a document type definition, does is that it will be checking the legal building blocks of XML document and the document structure, whether the elements are following all the structure of the elements or not, right? So if you look after the internal DTD, we are having the doc type, that is node. We have taken the element and what is the node, that I mean like what are the attributes that the node will be having, and next we had taken what are the attributes, sorry, what are the elements that are there in the node, and we had defined that what is the type of data, that is PC data, which we call it as parsed control data, which has to be parsed whenever you are writing all the data. So first what we had done is that we had defined the structure of the data which has to be included into the XML, and next we had written the data. So here what is happening is that first we are checking for the syntax, that is it is a well formed XML document, and next we are checking for the rules, that is which forms a DTD, that is a document type definition. Then we can definitely say that it is a valid XML document. And if you define the rules in a separate document, that is node.dtd, that is a file which is saved with an extension of dtd, which defines document type definition, and if you call this particular document into your XML code, then we call it as an external DTD. Here you can see that we are having doc type node system, that is node.dtd, that is nothing but whatever that file which you had saved over here, it will be called upon here. So firstly we will be checking for the syntax, that it is a well formed XML document, and next we will be checking after the rules that are defined in the DTD document, and after checking the rules, if all the if it is a well formed XML document and if all the rules are followed, then we can say it as a valid XML document. That's it for today's session. We'll continue in the next session, the remaining part. Thank you.